Last Sunday, a plane carrying 10 people to the race in Martinsville crashed into a Virginia mountainside. There were no survivors. 9 of the people on board were members of Hendrick Motorsports and its extended family. Tony Stort's helicopter pilot was a passenger on that plane. Our deepest sympathies to the friends, the families, and the co-workers of those that were lost. In a short while, the green flag will fly, the race will begin, and our lives will move forward. But the aching and the emptiness will go with us. Take a look at the championship standings. Kurt Busch has 6 straight finishes of 6th or better. You heard Jeff Gordon say it. He has never been more motivated. Earnhardt, Johnson, and Martin need to make their move today. The maximum point gain possible in one race, 156 points.
They call him Rocky Man for nothing.
Or front row Joe.
Your front row Joe on the outside.
Carl Edwards, man, he keeps qualifying running good, doesn't he?
It's his first top 10 start in his 10-race career.
Michigan winner Greg Biffle and Dale Earnhardt Jr., who won here back in March in row 3. Jr. could use to get his championship bid back on track today after last Sunday.
And Mark Martin felt so good about his car, he parked early in happy hour. Never does that.
I've never seen him do that.
We just blew by Jimmy Johnson while the guys won the last 2 races.
And I'll tell you what, these guys are real happy in that 2019. Kevin Harvick he's running very, very good. Those guys are pretty pumped up about this.
While we show you the rest of the starting lineup, let's try to talk to the man who leads the championship coming into the day.
Hey, Kurt Busch, Benny Parsons, you got me?
Hey, BP, what's going on?
Okay, you got 4 races to go. Your thoughts as you almost ready to take the green flag?
Well, this is a very fast racetrack, and it's just the next one in line for us. We've had a great regular season, and so far in the playoffs, we've been excellent. Just good finishes. When we have a chance to win, we go for it. And this weekend is no different. We just have to continue to attack these racetracks. And this place, the older that it gets, the more it reminds me of Darlington. You have to race the racetrack here today.
You won at Darlington, you might be able to do it here.
10-4, we'll see what we've got. We've got a great Sharpie Ford underneath us. My crew has done a superb job, and we're just looking for 4 more solid finishes.
Good luck, Kurt.
10-4, thanks.
That is championship leader Kurt Busch, going to take the green flag in the 22nd spot today.
And walking through the garage here this morning, he mentioned Darlington. While I heard a lot of other folks talk about Darlington because the tires are giving up. In 30, 40, 50 laps, the cars slow down dramatically in their first few laps.
About a second and a half what we were seeing yesterday. So that's a lot.
And the surface at Darlington is what's always the story there. It wears the tires out as this racetrack's pavement has aged. It was rebuilt in this configuration in 1997. Now it's got some years on it, starting to act that way.
And these guys, no slouches all the way through the field. Ricky Rudd starting last today, 43rd.
What a huge field of cars tried to qualify for this race.
And a couple of regulars went home. Scott Briggs and Scott Wimmer.
Ricky Rudd, Jeff Burton, both changing engines this morning on their cars. Final stories from pit road before the green flag. Marty Snyder leads us off.
Alan Dale Earnhardt Jr. finished 33rd last week at Martinsville, now 125 points out of the championship lead in the chase for the Cup. He told me, we have a great car. We can win this race today. And this is the same car we had here in March when they did win the race. Dave?
Benny already mentioned Mark Martin quitting practice early yesterday. He's a man of very few words, and when he got out of his car, he didn't say very much, but he had a big smile on his face. Matt?
Dave, the Penske guys trying to put last weekend's late race frustrations behind them. They start 1st and 12th. In fact, they showed some humor earlier this week. Rusty's crew chief Larry Carter saw Newman's personal vehicle out in the parking lot. He took a black drive border racer marker and drew 3 big donuts down the side, just showing they're trying to put that behind them. Rusty's won here twice. Newman's never won here. Both think they can win here today.
The crowd on its feet with a big roar. They're ready for the green flag, and we're underway in Atlanta as the cars come to the start-finish line.
Newman may have had a little bit of trouble there in the start.
Man, look at front row Joe go. Newman about to lose 2nd spot.
Dropping the outside.
Wow.
Boy, Robbie had a great start. He passed a bunch of cars up on the outside.
And this is what the greatest thing about this racetrack. We see the cars bottom, middle, top, all making good speed.
Nemechek led lap 1, but how much longer?
You can get your passing done now, like BP and I were talking about earlier. This track really eats up tires, so this is the best your tires are going to be all day long, or on this set of tires anyway. So you're going to be aggressive. Now's the time to do it.
New leader Ryan Newman. Now Elliott Sadler, 38, challenging Nemechek for second.
And Biffle trying to make it 3 wide on turn 4.
Ooh, in the grass. I better get back in line.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't go down to the grass, try to pass. Said the 16 car Biffle. Meanwhile, here comes Junior, the red car on the outside, number 8.
One here in March, had a terrible Sunday. Last weekend at Martinsville, lost a big chunk of ground to the leader in the championship. Needs to make something happen here to get some of that ground back.
Here, working the throttle, on the gas, off the gas, really work the gas pedal over there at 3 and 4.
Elliott Sadler had a terrible corner up in turn 3. Lost a spot to Greg Biffle.
These guys will start searching around and seeing where the best part of the racetrack is going to be for them, where their car works the best. High, low, in the middle.
Check out Carl Edwards, that 99 car, trying to go by Junior.
It's a race for 5th place, BP. Not able to do anything with Junior there. Looking back for Jimmy Johnson. Won the last 2 straight races.
He's around there someplace.
Well, he's in 8th spot. There he is. What's going on with Jimmy Johnson, Bill?
Well, obviously, Wally trying to make his way up through the field. The garage and pit road overflowing with emotion before the green flag. Chad Knaus, one of the leaders of Hendrick Motorsports, is Johnson's crew chief. His words before the start of the race.
Just like what we talked about today in the meeting. Go out there, do our job, have a good time. You guys have been doing an incredible job here the last month or so. Very, very proud of you to stick through the tough times, hold together through the even tougher times, and winning these races. You guys are incredible. Let's go out there and have a real good time today, have some fun. We got great seats for this race, got a great driver and a great car.
I talked to Chad in the garage this morning. His car good, his team focused. Obviously, they would love to pay their tribute in victory lane after this race, right behind his teammate in the 24 on the track.
Jeff Gordon sliding around Jimmy Johnson to pick up 8th. Jimmy back to 9th.
And Wally and I both talked to the crew on the 24 car this morning, and they felt like the car was not fast enough to win. They wanted to make some changes. Jeff Gordon called and said,
hey, don't touch it. It's comfortable. And comfortable means a lot at this racetrack, because this place, if your car, the scariest part about Atlanta is if the car's loose, especially if it's loose when you turn down in these corners, because you're running 190 miles per hour getting into the corners. And I'll tell you what, it gets your attention when these cars go sideways getting into the corner. So Jeff Gordon was like, I like it comfortable, keep it like this, hopefully they'll come back to us.
Ryan Vickers.
Sorry, Alan, 25 car going by Kevin Harvick at 29.
That'll be for 10th place. So Vickers moving forward from 13th where he started. And while you talk about a loose race car is one that when you turn it left, the back end wants to turn farther left than the front.
Yeah, you're almost afraid to turn the steering wheel, because when you turn the steering wheel down in the corner, the back just slides out on you. And man, like I said, when you're going fast here, as fast as these cars are going here, you got to be very careful with that steering wheel if your car's loose.
You see, Biffle had taken over the 2nd spot from Joe Nemechek, but now down the backstretch, Nemechek in the 01 trying to take it back.
Elliott Sadler right there in the 38 with him.
The 16 car Biffle slides up just a little bit, just enough to give the advantage to Joe off the corner. But you can run that high groove, you normally have a little bit better run, a little bit better horsepower getting off the corner.
Junior going to mix it up with these 3 as well.
Part of these drivers love this racetrack because they can race.
Well, you know, BP, that Dale Earnhardt Jr. loves this racetrack. Won here in March, has 6 straight top 10 finishes here in Atlanta. And this team has an uncanny ability to come back from bad finishes. We talked about the 33rd last week. They've done that 11 times previous. In the next race, 7 times they finished top 5s. 3 times they won the race after they finished out of the top 10 the week before. Dave?
Marty, Joe Nemechek started on the outside of the front row, lost a few positions. He radioed the crew. The whole car is sliding around. That's a report we've heard from drivers a lot this weekend.
It's a report the crews better get used to hearing all day long today.
Yeah, you're in a 4-wheel slide a lot. It looks like Biffle's in a four-wheel slide. He gets into the corner.
Oh!
He's a little bit loose there.
That's what we mean by loose.
Yeah.
When you turn the wheel, the front tires stick, and the back tires doesn't stick.
And that at 190 miles an hour or so. Fun. Ryan Newman, the early leader here in Atlanta. As we come back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, there's a new leader.
A new sheriff in town is Carl Edwards, a 99 guy.
Newman's hanging on. He was loose getting into the corner. Got loose right there. That was all Ryan needed, I think, to go. You know what, Carl?
You can have it.
Go ahead. What are they saying down there, Matt?
Wally, remember the first time you ever led a Nextel Cup race in your career?
Yeah.
Today is Carl Edwards, lap 50. First time he's ever led a Cup race.
Well,
Says this
cool
car is awesome. As you can tell, he's yarding them out front right now.
It's a pretty great feeling, too.
Did he give him a big yahoo when he did that, Matt?
BP, all professional. He's just hunkered down, digging.
All right.
Back in the garage, Kyle Busch has just coasted to a stop moments ago in his Hendrick Motorsport Chevrolet.
Man, he almost pulled it off yesterday in the NASCAR Busch Series race. Talking about Kyle Busch. What happened? Somebody about spin out?
I'm just looking at Carl swatting flies now. Carl was very loose there. He saw his hands going back and forth.
But still, the fastest car on the racetrack is not that car, the 99, nor the 12 car, but
smoke! The championship leader's in trouble, Dave.
Kurt radioed in. I've dropped a cylinder. They said switch ignition boxes. He said, I already did.
Oh, boy. That's all it takes. One race is going to tighten this points championship up like you can't believe now.
Oh, man. Like, this is history. I mean, the car can't smoke that bad and fix it, I don't think. He's going to the garage, straight to the garage.
That's what I was going to say, BP. If it's something they can't fix, he's going to finish 42nd.
Now, see, the way it's coming out, you're right, BP. That's not something I believe they can fix. Even if they do fix it, it's going to take a while.
So what was that we were saying about that 96-point lead and the way he had to race?
Gone now.
Well, we said all along, I see Jimmy Finning walking back to his car. You talk about crushed. That's a crew chief for Kurt Busch. Jimmy, I'm sorry. I know the agony you must be feeling.
I talked with Jimmy this morning, and he said that they could not be terribly conservative, but they couldn't be terribly aggressive as far as their mechanical setup on the car. They couldn't put all the gear to it and twist the engine hard and take a chance on a failure, but at the same time, they had to be competitive.
Had to go out and try to win. They can't find his car. It's on the other side of the truck.
On the right.
No.
He's found it now.
Yeah. Oh, man, that Doug Yates with him?
I think so.
The Roush Yates engine program, of course, the Ford power teams combining earlier this year to develop engines together. It's been excessively successful for both operations this year.
You see Kurt's out of the car right there already, so...
Get the engine box. They have a special toolbox to work on the engine, and that's what they're going after now, Dave.
And they do lean in there. You were right. That certainly is Doug Yates looking it over with them as well. And Jimmy just talking to Kurt right now. Again, the report from Kurt was very quick, and the suggestion on switching ignition boxes sometimes a fix. It was already done. Bill?
The team's on pit road. Jimmy Johnson has the first pit stall as you come off of turn 4. His car has been tight. Crew Chief Chad Knaus on the radio said make the changes we talked about. They never talked about the changes on the radio. It's a major wedge adjustment for the 48, Matt.
Bill, they're going to pull a tear off the windshield for Carl Edwards. Says the car perfect, no adjustments. He just needed a bag of ice to Dave.
38 car of Elliott Sadler said, I cannot get in the gas at all. That's how loose the car was. They already made a chassis adjustment for tire change. Marty?
Dave, Ryan Newman loose off the corners, hits pit road, running second, middle of your screen, 1 round of wedge in the left rear, 4 tires is the change for Ryan Newman, and they will win the race off pit road. Dave?
right now with Kurt walking back to his hauler. Kurt, I heard you say you'd already tried the ignition box and it didn't help at all.
Yeah, it was catastrophic. It wasn't anything I could fix from the driver's seat. Just a bummer luck and a feeling I had in my stomach before the race. We've had great luck up until this point, and we've ran real hard up until this point, and I knew this 500-miler would be very tough on our engine program, but we haven't had any problems all year. So Doug has done a great job. Jack to team up with Doug Yates to build the power. It's just one of those gut feelings where you just don't feel as confident as the weeks before, and I had that today, and you can't talk to anybody about it. You just want to go and run and hope that feeling goes away, and by doing so, you just get in the car and you race. And it just wasn't our day today, so we have to come back next week just as hard.
Kurt, that feeling was something you didn't share with anybody but just held inside?
Just something where you feel like you've done everything you can to produce the results, and you know something's going to bite you. You know something's going to come up, and this is just one little blow that I think our team can overcome. We're not down by no means. It's just that you don't need that this late in the run, because you've got to be perfect from here on in, just as we have been to this point. But bummer luck, but we'll do the shop before the best we can next week.
Kurt started the chase with a win, a series of top fives. This is the first time they've got a black mark on their record in the chase for the Nextel Cup. Alan?
And when he says that is true, I don't know if that's happened to you, but you sometimes come to the racetrack and not have a good feeling, and things happen. I swear, it's happened to me, and it's happened to everybody.
Well, it hasn't been a good day today for Kurt. He's out early. When championship contenders have found trouble here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Kurt Busch, the Nextel points leader, has trouble on lap 52. He's out of there.
Going to finish 42nd on the day. A little bit later on in the race, Jeff Gordon.
Ouch. Breaks a gear after making a pit stop. Has to go to the pit area. He will change it, get back, but losing several laps.
In fact, when the time the story of this championship is written, a lot of these drivers might remember Atlanta as being the day their hopes were re-energized or totally discharged. 6 of the 10 have had troubles today.
212 laps on the board here, this 500-mile race. And again, number 1 is number 6. Look at that car go. How about it, Matt?
Mark Martin enjoys almost a 6-second lead, Bill. Pat Tryson, his crew chief's biggest concern coming into today's race, was staying ahead of the track as it changes. Today, they have not made one adjustment to that 6 car.
Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car currently running second. He is the highest running hope right now for the Hendrick Motorsports team after their difficult week and the accident of last Sunday. The 9 car just getting around the 48. So Jimmy Johnson trying to get to the front. You see that black armband? That's the arm of Chris Anderson. He's the jackman on the 48 team. That's actually black tape because they ran out of armbands with all the pit crew members, not necessarily from Hendrick Motorsports or from Tony Stewart's team here on pit road. So Chris improvised and got black tape to show his feelings. How about the 9 car?
Bill's 24-year-old Casey Kane just passed Jimmy Johnson on the racetrack. His car very good, but now there's a developing problem. The engine's starting to stall out at the end of the backstretch. They had the same problem at Michigan. That day, they went on to finish second, hoping for the same results or even better today. Dale Earnhardt Jr., we told you he was loose earlier on, currently in the 4th position. He just radioed the crew. The looseness is all but gone now. Car much better. Last week, they lost 101 points at Martinsville. Today, they could gain a lot of points. Robbie Gordon has an extremely loose race car, losing another position to Carl Edwards. But when you're a wheelman like Robbie Gordon, you can hold on to a loose race car.
Carl Edwards moving back into the top 5 on his last pit stop. He said the car was just too snug in the center. They made a track bar adjustment. Since that stop, he's had a lot of conversations between himself and the team about what to do with this race car. Here's a part of it.
Can't tell, Bobby, if I guess there's just grip up top, but I just, for some reason, can't really make it work up there. I get up there and kind of push it through the center, and it's a little too free off. I think the penalty is much more than the gain, right now. So I'm going to try to make it work on the bottom or through the middle or whatever.
10 seconds back of the leader, having his best run in his short Nextel Cup career, working on his first top 5, Dave.
If Joe Nemechek goes to victory lane today, it will be with a Hendrick motor under the hood, a motor that was delivered on time as usual Monday morning amidst all the grief that the Hendrick folks were experiencing. Crew Chief Ryan Pemberton told me those are the most professional people I've ever met, and they did their job even this week. Matt?
Jeff Burton runs in the 8th position. He came on the radio and said, something is bottoming out. I don't know if it's the oil pan or bell housing. Tell me if I should be concerned. Kevin Hamlin came back on and said, it's the bell housing. Nothing to worry about yet, Dave.
Tony Stewart radioed to his bud, that's Zippy, I need help rolling through the center of the corner. I need to get on the gas sooner, and it really started pushing, he radioed, about lap 200. That's why he's lost positions this last run. The 2 of Rusty Wallace, his car was loose. They did go back down on that track car. It's improved a little bit. He restarted 9th and is just having a little trouble with it right now. Matt?
Jimmy McMurray thought he'd have a better run today. He's saying the car is loose on exit. He said when it slides like that, it stays loose for about 5 laps. He's trying to figure out what adjustment Billy wants to make on the next stop. Right now, he's thinking a wedge adjustment.
Matt, this is the track and the race where Brian Vickers in that 25 car made his Nextel Cup Series debut 1 year ago. 1 week ago, he turned 21 years old. He was a grown man in the media center here on Friday. He wasn't ashamed to say, I can't take any questions about this subject. He just gave a statement, his feelings of all the emotions that have poured out over the past week. Then he sat there and listened. He was able to talk before the race today, but you didn't have to hear his words, just the sound of his voice. How emotional he is about today and what he would like to do for his team. The 16 car of Greg Biffle, earlier in the race, Greg was on the radio saying there's something wrong with this car. There is something broken in this car. They might break it in their car next week, too. He's marched forward. The 13th car is a little loose, Marty.
Weber Michael Waltrip having a very solid run in his 3rd race with new crew chief Pete Rondeau. The car was loose in, tied off on the last set of adjustments. They put wedge in, made an air pressure adjustment, trying to get the 15 car better. Michael's not had a lot of success since they reconfigured this racetrack. Bill?
Michael McSwain is the crew chief for the 21 of Ricky Rudd. I saw him about 30 laps ago. I said, you're doing good. He just gave me a sign saying baby steps. We're taking baby steps throughout the race today. We want something for the end. Matt?
This hasn't been Kevin Harvick's season. He fell out of the chase after Fontana. Right now, he's just trying to get this car back into contention. He says it's just too tight in the center, Bill. The air pressure adjustment and chassis adjustment did not help.
Dale Jarrett, the former series champion, we talked earlier in the race, usually running about 14th or 15th, trying to make the car better. Well, they've gone the other way. He slipped down to about 17th in the running order right now. Car is just too loose, Marty.
Bill, Casey Mears has kept his car on the lead lap thanks to one Lucky Dog award, but they've had a struggle with this race car today. Extremely loose car all afternoon long. They pulled a spring rubber from the right rear on the last stop. Casey says the front end is just not working in this race car right now. Ryan Newman still trying to get back on the lead lap. He's pedaling. He's got a pretty fast race car, but they can't get on the lead lap to show it to everyone. Right now, Ryan is tight. They used their last test session of the year right here 3 weeks ago. We're hoping for much better today. Weber?
And obviously Jeff Gordon was hoping for much better results today, running deep in the pack after spending a number of laps behind the wall because of the broken rear gear. Gordon, as he told us, was hoping to make a move in the championship standings. Probably won't happen today. 223 laps on the board in Atlanta. We'll be back.
Beautiful afternoon in Hampton, Georgia, just south of the city of Atlanta. A beautiful day for fans of Mark Martin, the veteran from Arkansas, who is putting on a dominating performance in search of his 2nd win this season.
Just about to put Rusty Wallace in the 2 car a lap down.
And that's Tony Stewart right there in front of him, who's running an 11th spot. Going to put him a lap down.
They asked what we should do for our Ford Built Tough moment. Well, I don't think there's any question. Then just look at that 6 car. because that Ford has hauled all day long. Mark Martin leading 190 of the 272 laps that we've run so far today. He's 6 seconds ahead of second place, and he's been just about unstoppable since he took the lead for the first time way back at lap 75.
And has led every lap except exchange of pit stops a couple times. Some guys have been in front, but basically he's been in front since then.
He's going to gather some points today.
Coming up in the back of Tony Stewart, that's the 11th place car to try and put him a lap down. Day's not been what Tony Stewart hoped for, Dave, huh?
No, and they're still fighting that turning in the center of the corner. The car won't turn through it. He radioed that the forward bite was still really good, and that's something that guys have been missing here. But turning in the center of the corner, you got a handle here. You know what, guys? Years ago, when in '97, when they repaved this place, they were running about 6 miles an hour slower for the pole speed, and now they've gained something like 70 more horsepower in the motors, which means, you know, well, what I'm trying to say is they got more horsepower now, but you still got a handle here, guys.
Yeah, help us out with that, Dave.
Yeah, sorry. I had something.
You do have to
earlier,
handle,
but
Dave. That's really the most important thing on this racetrack is you've got to be comfortable.
And Mark Martin still working over Tony Stewart. Matt, what's going on in his pit?
Well, he came on the radio a few laps ago and told Pat Tricett, keep this in mind for our final pit stop. The track is starting to get shaded, and the car seems to be going back to the tight side right now. Pat said, well, do you think we should make an air pressure adjustment? He says, no, let's just wait and see when we get closer. They're about 20 laps from their pit stop, and now looking at that in-car camera shot, he's got that Arkansas grip working on the steering wheel, just looks so relaxed on a Sunday afternoon drive.
That must be so much fun when you've got a car that handles this good.
Don't know.
Never had one like that?
Oh, I think I've had one just a few times in your life, but very seldom do you have that.
Here's the flip side of that, though. When you've got a car that good, are you nervous behind the wheel? I mean, as you get closer to the finish, does it make you nervous that you've been that good all day and it might disappear if something happens?
No.
I don't think so either. No. I think when your car is that good, it gives you a lot of confidence, and it is fun. I mean, but I don't think you ever really worry about it going away. If it was going to go away, sometimes when you have a run to a pit stop, if you come out of that pit stop and it still runs good, then you know you're going to have a good car all day. It's when you have a good car once and then it goes the other way, and then you chase it all day.
See Tony Stewart going down in the corner and drive it into the sun, but so far it's not down far enough to be a problem for these drivers.
Backstretch towards turn 3.
That is the leader, Mark Martin, disappearing.
Riding into the sunset.
Into the sunset, yes.
Just 10 cars on the lead lap. Unbelievable. Mark Martin has set a new record here at Atlanta today. Since they reconfigured this racetrack to this shape in 1997, the most laps led in a single race was 191. He's now led 195 and counting. So, put that stat in the dominance file. He's been so close so many times to that second win this year. Just the one victory for Mark back at Dover in June. Just hasn't been able to nail it down. And I guess you could use that to describe Mark in championships as well.
He's been close many, many times. But what, 4 times he's finished second in the chase for the Nextel Cup?
But today may be the day that Mark Martin gets back in the hunt for that crown. As Kurt Busch went out of the race early, Mark now finds himself only 71 points from the championship lead. Caution has just come out.
See all the oil on the right rear of his tire? He must have blown an engine and got sideways because of the oil pouring out.
Martin Truex Jr. That was down in turns 1 and 2.
And he has spun because we see both front tires are flat.
Truex Jr. with a start in the DEI car today. Had an announcement yesterday that he will go Nextel Cup racing full-time in 2006 after another run at the Busch Series Championship next year. Top of the screen.
race and comes down off the racetrack.
See, those bull riders got nothing on a driver with oil on his tires, huh?
No, but the car's not going to step on him now.
Yeah, okay. So caution flag out for just the 4th time in this race. Now. Pit stops, pit crew pressure.
And pit road is open.
So everybody's going to be 4 tires.
And pit road is open, Bill.
And if it stays green, this will be the final stop of the race. Jimmy Johnson again in that first stall right off of pit road. Chad Canals told him there's not a lot we can do for you at this point. A tear off from the windshield, a slight track bar adjustment because he's just a tick loose around to the left side, and there'll be 4 tires and fuel, Matt.
Mark Martin's car has been near perfect all day. They finally make an adjustment. A half a pound change in the right front tire, and he's away, Dave.
Charlie Brock and Richard Broyles are the tire changers that have to hit all 10 lug nuts securely, quickly. They do it. Joe Nemechek gone, no changes.
Dave Tommy Baldwin told the Dodge boys we need a quick stop here. They delivered 14-4. Casey a little too tight. He said it's doing everything 1 round up on the track bar.
I think Mark needs to worry about that 01 car a little bit.
He's been pretty fast.
Joe Nemechek's been running real good.
And Casey Kane at Lowe's Motor Speedway, I mean, how dominant was that car? He looked like Mark Martin is today until he had a problem late in the race.
All that oil dry out there that's going to have to be cleaned up before the restart. So this is going to turn into a short sprint to the finish. With people getting to reload on fresh tires and take one more shot at Mark Martin. Robbie Gordon has had a good day. Ira Joe Hussey doing his thing on the front tires of that car. Gordon getting some fresh rubber in hopes of trying to pick up a couple of more spots before the checkered flag. We'll come back to Atlanta after this.
Whoa.
Drivers on the lead lap. Jeff Burton, the lucky dog at that last caution. Mark Martin has led most of the afternoon. Can he hang on to the finish, or may it slip away in these final laps?
I think it's important he stays out front because obviously his car very good in clean air, and I don't think he wants anybody messing with that, so he needs to stay out front.
Both he and second place Casey Kane clear the lap traffic going into the corner. Now Kane with a little slip.
What happened to Casey Kane? All of a sudden, the 9 car off the pace. Oh, no, not again.
I think he's just sliding. I think he just got loose over there. And maybe,
Marty?
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Not a word from Casey so far, guys. Not a word.
He must have missed a shift or something. I mean, there's got to be something wrong.
He's going to go from second to the end of the lead lap. About 9th on that 1 lap after the restart. Now it's Jimmy Johnson chasing Mark Martin as Casey continues to fall.
I think he just got loose down in there.
See the 48 car, but he has a couple of lap cars, Greg Biffle and Tony Stewart, between himself and the 6 of Mark Martin. And he's also got bigger problems. The 01 car, Joe Nemechek, trying to take over the 3rd from Carl Edwards. This guy has been fast most of the day.
Is going to take that spot on the high side.
Here comes Dale Jr. Whoa, squeeze play.
And he goes by Nemechek.
You see Newman in there in the 12 car, but he's 2 laps down. He's not racing these guys for position.
Well, I don't know what happened to Casey Kane there, but whatever it was, dropped him back to 6th place, and he seems to have stabilized there. So now Junior trying to move forward. Remember that every position he gains from here forward is worth 5 points toward the championship. And with Kurt Busch in the garage most of the afternoon in 42nd place, 5, 10, 15 more points. If Junior can gain 2 or 3 spots in this last sprint, it could be huge. Could be the nice frosting on top of an already sweet day.
Well, right now, if Junior can go forward 1 spot, then he will go in front.
Harvick in trouble.
18th place, 1 lap down.
Those guys were working on the car a little bit there.
Talking about the gear, another car with a gear problem? That's what he said. The left rear tire flat.
Now the question is, does he have enough
so.
speed to coast all the way back around?
Guess not.
Matt. A rear end or a bearing or something. It didn't come out the bottom.
You heard Kevin Harvick describe what he feels like is wrong with his race car. Todd Berrier already told him, take it to the garage. We've got parts and pieces there. Let's see if we can fix it and get the car back out and salvage whatever we can points-wise today.
Not much would be my answer to that.
Not much at all.
With only 27 laps to go. Whoa, Nemechek scrubbing the wall in the Army car.
Yeah, all of a sudden, Nemechek, the 01 car, is not showing the speed that he did before this last pit stop.
Well, he's driving hard right now. These guys know they only got 20-some laps to go. So they're going to be a little bit more aggressive with these race cars, and you can easily overdrive a car here, especially when you get into the corner.
12 car Ryan Newman 2 laps down after starting on pole and leading the opening segment of this race. Caution. Kevin Harvick did not make it back around. Well, he made it back around to pit road, but that's not a safe place.
It looks like it's kind of like the Jeff Gordon car. He got that far and he just wouldn't roll anymore. Like it is a rear gear or something locked up.
Mark Martin, the leader. Carl Edwards with right side fresh tires. Everybody else with 4 fresh tires. 20 laps to go.
And this is what Mark needs to do. He needs to clear the 20 car, and hopefully the 99 car, Carl Edwards, will hold those guys back on fresh tires. Just a little bit is all he needs.
And Casey Kane, once again, the 9 car, something happened on his car on the start.
Casey came off pit road 3rd, restarted 3rd.
And Jimmy Johnson has gone to the 3rd spot. Bill?
They warned the 48 car of Jimmy Johnson, who started behind the 9. The 9's having trouble on the restarts. Be careful, he'll probably go high if he has that problem. They warned him before the green.
Casey fell from 3rd to 8th.
And Jimmy Johnson is driving the 48 car down in turn 1 harder than he has all day because all of a sudden the tires are hitting the fenders. He's driving it so hard in the corner.
And there's Biffle getting in the mix.
Well, he's a couple laps down because he's been held on pit road.
Also his teammate is Mark Martin.
Yeah, that'll help.
Biffle just back on track. Did not make the stop and go paddle. He had some work done, extensive work done on his car under this caution. And when he left pit road, basically the pace car beat him to the line where they changed the paddle from stop to go, and he got caught.
Here's Biffle running hard. He's also running the 48 hard.
Yes.
So hopefully that will let Mark, his teammate, get away a little bit. What are they saying about the 6? Matty, because I'll tell you what, he got company on his rear bumper.
He hasn't said anything about that race car, Wally. Good and bad day for Roush. 2 out with engine problems. 2 up at the front. Carl Edwards, an awesome day trying for his first Nextel Cup Series win. Mark Martin, after all these years, trying for his first title. A big points day for Mark. Big day for Carl Edwards. Could be the biggest of all.
Mark's going to have to start driving defensive right now because he's got a lot of company.
Well, 2nd place. Here comes Jimmy Johnson.
And for the lead, Johnson trying to take it away from Mark Martin down at turn 1.
Johnson underneath Mark Martin, who's dominated this race all day long. Martin's teammate, Greg Biffle, opened the door for Johnson, and Johnson went through the lead.
Mark underneath them. Goes down to the bottom. He's been working down there real good all day, but boy, those tires look like they did make a big difference.
And here comes Junior trying to take over that 3rd spot from Carl Edwards. Junior in the 8 car.
15 laps to go. Oh, Martin hanging on.
He's trying to drive the car right now faster and harder than the tires will allow him.
Oh, no trouble. Championship contender in trouble. Crashing on the back straightaway.
No.
Believe this.
Looked like he had contact with Carl Edwards. Yeah.
Man.
Another another championship twist.
Mark's going to have to get busy. Oh, there goes, is that Jimmy Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Jimmy Johnson on the outside, so caught Nemechek sleeping a little bit.
And he's going to
take
force
the
him down
spot.
behind some slow cars.
And he's going to go up against it. That's Casey Kane. Trouble again on the restart.
Just can't get it going. They thought maybe if he stayed in front, he could, but he couldn't.
And boy, they're stacking up behind him.
What a mess. Jimmy Johnson for the lead on Jeff Burton.
Blocked in there, and look at
This Carl Edwards coming up on the outside.
and he's got it. Well, he had a good run.
And Michael Waltrip is tail end of the lead lap. He wants to stay in front of these guys in case the caution comes out. Oh, who's got damage? Is that Burton?
Burton again, smoking a left running. Done that a couple times on these restarts.
New leader, Jimmy Johnson. But Carl Edwards to his outside.
15 cars there.
Carl just drives up on the outside of it.
Oh, this is getting busy here.
Man.
Wow.
How good is this?
That is cool.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just holding my breath.
Look at Mark Martin down on the bottom, right behind Jeff Burton. Oh, Burton gets a little bit loose. Slides up the racetrack.
Yikes.
Yeah, Burton got big time loose getting off the two there. Mark Martin was right on his bumper.
So Mark Martin through, what is that, to third. Does he have enough time after dominating this race to catch Carl Edwards and then Jimmy Johnson? It's going to be tough.
Go, man. Go get him.
That's Pat Tryson telling you got 7 to go.
BP, you heard Pat Tryson cheering Mark Martin on. After the pit stop, Mark came on the radio very quietly and said, we made a huge mistake. We should have stayed out. Pat said, no, we have enough time. You can get him. Get up on that wheel, Marty.
Dale, bad news for the Dale Earnhardt Jr. team. Matt, Tony Eury Sr. just proclaimed their race done. Dale Jr. will drive around on the apron for one lap and pull it in the garage and park it. Their second straight DNF.
Mark Martin underneath Carl Edwards for second spot.
And that is the Dale Jr. car that they race by at top speed, making that limping lap around to the garage.
Boy, Mark wants a shot at Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, he does. And he's going to get it, I believe. You're seeing Junior limping around the racetrack.
Oh, man.
That hit the wall.
Go get him. There's 5 to go. Go get him.
9/10 of a second behind Jimmy Johnson.
That's not much. As good as that 6 car is working. Once you catch him, though, you got to get past him.
Jimmy Johnson leading this race for Hendrick Motorsports. Bill?
Closing laps, Alan, and everyone was wondering, would a Hendrick Motorsports team be in contention near the end of the race? On Friday, in their press conference in the media center, Jimmy Johnson talked about Rick Hendrick. He said, in extraordinary circumstances, extraordinary people do extraordinary things. Now, Johnson trying to do something special for all the people at Hendrick Motorsports and take the family to victory lane.
Oh, he better flip that mirror up.
Mark Martin is coming. He's closing on the 48 car. He may run out of time. There may not be enough laps.
He's all yours. Go get him.
I don't know. He
Faster that lap.
He's a one fly. He's all yours. Get him.
2 or 3/10 of a second faster every lap.
Johnson wide in turn 1.
He drove her down in the corner just a little bit too deep, trying to get a little bit more. It wasn't there.
Mark Martin with desire of his own at 45 years old, already announced that next year will be his last year of Nextel Cup racing, wants the championship badly, wants the victory badly. Jimmy Johnson carrying the emotion of an entire organization with him. What it would do for them if he can win this race today. 2 laps to go in Atlanta.
Jimmy Johnson, there he goes, burying a tire in the fender again, but Mark Martin right on the white line. He is catching him, but I think you're right, BP. I don't think he's got enough time.
Well, he's going to run out of time.
Mark is just, both of these guys are driving their guts out right now.
As hard as they can possibly go and still keep the car under control.
One more time. One more lap. One more.
flag is up. Final lap in Atlanta. Jimmy Johnson leading Mark Martin.
Got through there a little bit better this time, Jimmy Johnson, but Mark still gained on him just a touch. But Johnson's got it. I mean, unless he makes a big mistake at 3 and 4, Mark can't do it.
This could be 3 in a row for that 48 car.
Buddy, come on, bring it home. Bring it home. Jimmy, don't do any burnouts, buddy.
The emotions of the victory for Jimmy Johnson. He wins in Atlanta for Hendrick Motorsports.
I'll tell you, that's good stuff.
In loving memory all the way.
What more can you say?
Nothing.
In loving memory all the way. Jimmy Johnson with his 7th victory of the season after a terrible 7 days for the Naval of Hendrick Motorsports.
The adrenaline comes down and the emotion hits.
Yep.
Let it go, Chad. It's okay.
What you wanted.
There's no medicine like that. It doesn't change anything, and we don't get back our friends that we've lost. But it sure makes it feel better to do something like this, and it's just unbelievable. As you can imagine, lost for words, and I just don't even know where to start. I got to thank my crew guys, everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, to have such a difficult week, to be able to bounce back and to do this. I don't even know what to say. This is unbelievable. I just talked to Rick on the phone. He said, put my hat on backwards for Little Ricky. So there it is for Little Ricky. Randy Dorton, Joe Jackson, Liz and Dick, Jeff Turner.
Joe Jackson.
Joe Jackson. I mean, everybody. It's just unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. This Lowe's car, all the support from this team, from everyone. This is a special deal. Big day in the points. I don't even know what to say, Bill.
Can I ask you about restarts then? Just tell me about restarts, because you had a few of them that were pretty exciting today.
Yeah, when you get that close to the front, you I guess do things that you probably shouldn't do. And I tried it once before, and the car stuck really good, just flat foot in 1 and 2, and had a great restart on that one. And I knew Casey was having some troubles getting going. I was going to have to, be careful for him. I didn't realize I was going to get on the outside of the 01. And then I had to be 3 or 4 wide up against the wall, and I just kept my foot in it.
And that 6 car was coming behind you.
6 car was coming, but I had 10 angels riding on this race car. And feel bad for Mark, dominant car, but things happen for a reason. Unfortunately, the event's what happened. God had a bigger plan for them, and there's a bigger plan for this Hendrick team here today.
Okay, Jimmy, I just have to ask you one more. There are people that would wonder how you guys did get it together to get here this week.
It's just preparation. What Rick has done with this race team, what everybody has worked so hard for, it's just preparation, man. It is tough. It was tough, but it's all preparation. It's this guy, it's those guys.
See those guys over there, they have their hats on, but that one's named Vickers and one's named Gordon. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody at home, too, for supporting the Hendrick family and all of us through this.
Final results on today's Bass Pro Shops MBNA 500 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Jimmy Johnson with his 3rd straight win. Last time 3 straight Cup races for one. Jeff Gordon, the last 2 of 1998 and the first one of 1999.
And Casey Kane will come home in 5th spot. Just could not get his car on the restart. Struggled.
See the drivers highlighted in yellow being the 10 contenders for the Nextel Cup, and you're going to see a lot of them down toward the bottom of the finishing order. That was the story of the day besides the Jimmy Johnson win.
Like Stuart said, when you're a little bit off here, you're a lot off, really. And a lot of these guys had a long day. See 3, 4, 5, 6 laps down. That's struggling with the race car.
And Jeremy Mayfield is not the last top 10 contender to be highlighted. There we see Junior, Gordon, Elliott Sadler, and we aren't through yet.
Yeah, the man who led the championship starting today hasn't shown up yet.
There you go. You got to go all the way to the bottom, just about. Kurt Busch.
So Kurt Busch with a 42nd place run in the championship standings with 3 races to go. Things have tightened up considerably.
NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.